Hello. Well, it's full moon in Sagittarius on the 11th of June, and it's the strawberry moon, which is really around the June period when you get the strawberries coming. I've got loads of raspberries as well. So the time frame is 7:44 a.m. in GMT, UK, 3:44 New York EST, and 12:44, I believe, Pacific. And you can also see Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn in the night sky, and Uranus and Neptune with binoculars, but don't look at the sun with the binoculars. I do tend to spot Venus. It's so bright it can look like a star. And I think not Uranus, is it Uranus? And one of them is really white. Mercury is kind of white looking. Mars is red looking. So I looked at 4 astrologers: Pam Gregory, Molly McCord, someone called Ria, I didn't catch her second name, Tanya Gabrielle, and I had a weird dream about volcanic eruption and seeing a huge amount of lava last night. And I believe that the date might be in 10 days' time. So I wasn't quite clear where it is at all. Then I saw on social media that there is a massive volcano that might erupt around, I don't think it's Etna, but another one in Italy and might affect Italy and Greece. But my actual dream was with a family member in Los Angeles. So no, the San Andreas fault is there, but I'm sorry. If I sometimes before a big event, I can get 3 warnings, a big kind of disaster thing. So if I get any more dreams, I'll probably put them out there. And that the warnings come in dream form, so they're like, predictive. So this one though is a good one. Oh, and by the way, Pam Gregory had said around like from middle of June there might be more seismic activity because it's showing in the astrology. So Pam really talked about new beginnings. You've got Neptune in Aries, came in March. You've got Saturn in Aries, and Aries is new beginnings. It's like the great starter at things, and it's the first zodiac sign. And you've got Saturn in Aries, 24th, 25th of May. You've got Jupiter in Cancer on the 9th of June, so only 2 days ago. Mercury moved into Cancer around the same time. Pluto is the only planet that is not direct. That means it's, stationary, but all the others are moving. And this feels like starting and initiating energy. And she thinks it's going to be quite dynamic from June. And Jupiter and Mercury were conjunct on the 8th of June. And both planets in Cancer on the 9th of June. And Jupiter is the benefic, the greatest benefic. And it's happy in Cancer, apparently. So self-care might feel important. Cancer's linked to kind of, the home and self-care. So take that opportunity, she thinks, to step back and care for the self, be relaxed, nurture, lovely candles, baths. I've bought myself some more bath salts. And Jupiter is there actually in Cancer for 12 months. And I believe Cancerians might have had a bit of a hard time, but this should be a better period for them. I've seen many astrologers talk about that. So this full moon on the 11th of June, she talked about 7:45 universal time. And sun, moon opposite each other. So Sagittarius explores the long distance, visionary. It's visionary. It likes travel, futures, and it's about, expansion really. And we can look at exploring expansion for ourselves and physical travel and even metaphysical things as well, like, to do with the universe, connecting with the universe. And it's kind of about no limits, really. Sagittarians do not like to be tied down, I think. And they're really exploratory and into education and things as well, and broadening their horizons. So it could be kind of a time for your astrological journey, as it were. And the sun is, so you've always got the sun and moon opposite. Sun is 20 degrees of Gemini, and it's linking, she thinks, to Algira and big dreaming. And she talked about links to Aborigines, and they thought everything birthed from dream time. And the ruler is Jupiter of this full moon, really, at home in Cancer. And really, it's about big thinking and more sovereignty of ourselves. So our own, being sovereigns. And Jupiter Cancer need to feel safe with their loved ones, and even if not with loved ones, with their soul family. So there might be a little bit more focus or feeling of focus on family. And Leo Mars, sovereign, and Sagittarian is independent. You've got as well a fire grand trine, which is Mars in Leo, Moon in Sagittarius, and Aries Chiron in Aries. So it's about kind of independence and actually entrepreneurial feeling as well, and about kind of my way. I did it my way. So, but initiating spiritual pioneership. Who am I becoming? She thinks, and being a bigger, better, expanded version of ourselves. And she thinks this is a real rehearsal for things coming up. So, and also on the 15th, there's a final square with Jupiter and Saturn. She talked about last August and 4th of December, and then the 15th of June. And I think this is relating to Jupiter and Saturn. But from the 15th of June, things kind of really move ahead. And you've got Capricorn solstice that happened 2020, birthed a 20-year episode and a kind of socio-political backdrop in Aquarius, and the feeling of community and freedom happening from then onwards. And she talked about like comparing on the 15th of June, how far have we come from December 2020? She's talking about like comparisons, really. And do we have more independence? Is this feeling okay? And also Jupiter is very much about belief systems. So she mentioned that. And what do we believe at kind of the end of 2020? And have we revised our belief systems, and what gives us now meaning? And, that sort of connection with the family being important. And this, she talks about this full moon square with mutable signs, and the south node, which is about the past, and the north node, which is about the future. And Saturn, the past, is about the past, and Jupiter is the future. And this is linking with the mutable signs, a grand cross. So really this focus on the past versus the future. And Aries is about leadership, leaders reality check, like Neptune is also mentioned, and it can be linked with deception. And Saturn also about accountability and integrity. So there might be a spotlight at the moment on leadership, and which ones are, really are authentic and accountable. So, and also to think, how do we help people on the periphery, really meaning like people like the homeless. And also there can be hard aspects, Neptune, Jupiter, Saturn helps us with that, and Aries can be also a bit compulsive, so be careful. Saturn, Neptune, she talked about as well, and Ceres, grain harvest, Gaia, it's actually linked with Gaia and the symbol of the earth. So she talked about, because of conjunction in Aries, we may see more fires, droughts, even flooding. And there's been floods in South France, northern Italy, Spain. And Gaia is, she talked about it going through its evolution, really. That's linked with that. Jupiter can have links with legal. Sagittarius can also have links with legal aspects. Neptune's got that deception thing, so there could be cases to do with bad leaderships. She also, and I've highlighted here, talked about seismic activity and problems, because there's this, there's been a lot to do with fixed signs previously, so there might be quite a bit of stuck energy and then it explodes. That was her way of explaining it. But the volcanoes have been very active, like 6+ magnitudes, strong, and she really thinks this is stronger in late June, early July, up to the 7th of July, when Uranus enters Gemini. And then, but she thinks that there could be travel restrictions. And as I said, I had this really rather vivid dream about seeing lava and also a link and shutting windows, maybe to do with a dust cloud, and that this could be in about 10 days' time, which I think works out just after the midsummer, after the 21st, so around the 22nd. But, I'm just putting it out there. And it could be quite sort of affecting other areas in the world. I'm not entirely sure where it is at all, but if I get anything else, as I say, I'll mention it. So Venus in Taurus square to Pluto as well, and that might do link with shifts in currency and relationship issues about control versus freedom. And Chiron has been active, and we can look at where were we wounded victims, and it's time to kind of look at the healing of that. And be careful about social media and what it does to our anxiety levels. She often talks about that. So then we're on to Molly McCord. Sorry, this could be quite a long one actually. And she talked about what the mutable fire signs, and its opposite Sun, Gemini, 20 degrees. And it's both are in 20 degrees. Sagittarius is, the full moon is 20 degrees of Sagittarius, and the Sun is 20 degrees of Gemini. So, it's a lot to do with mutable air, adjust for new information, and active full moon, really. And Sagittarius energy wants us to see the new perspectives, go higher and explore other beliefs and so on. I don't want to repeat. Sometimes I tend to repeat because they are saying quite a lot of the same things. So, yeah, she said Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter in Cancer. So once every 12 years, this happens where they go into each other's ruling signs. And Jupiter expands and connects to safe, secure security. And Sagittarius, like, now run with it and go further. And Cancer links to safety and security. Sagittarius means kind of go with it, but move to what excites you. And it's linked with emotional energy because of Jupiter in Cancer. And maybe that the mind needs a break as well. It can be quite draining, a lot of this energy stuff. And don't overplan things. So it's best when Cancer's operating, come into peace and quiet. Inspiration will come, maybe with a new approach. And then you've got, she talked about Jupiter did square north-south nodes, overthinking, but now the moon shows a choice point. And the north node in Pisces, we've got a whole year of that. So we may be afraid, but Jupiter says we'll grow from it, what lifts us up. And the south node in Virgo, plans, details, etc. But, it might there might be a lightness of relief. So we might feel like wrestling with change. And Saturn, Neptune in Aries, we might meet new parts of the self. So there's new potential, really. And we can open up early in 26 as well. And this is like an early preview of it. She talked about the mutable signs, like really want, I think, action, because they kind of quite a bit, want things to happen, really. Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces. And the mutables love freedom. So there might be that sense of, I want freedom, really. And she talked about Mars, ruler of Chiron in Aries, opportunity to reconcile, invite in and work with the self. And Mars square Uranus, 28 degrees of Taurus, activates more in the collective about change. And really, she talked about big outbursts up to the 15th, square Mars and Uranus, some unexpected things. Uranus is really linked with unexpected stuff. An outburst changes the stage. In the fixed signs, Mars is weakened from Pluto and Aquarius. And Mars Leo, it could sort of be a bit about attention seeking. And Leo Mars can be kind of a bit immature energy, so you need to watch that. And there's a big change post-exact full moon. So Mars trines the moon, the grand trine in fire we talked about exact after this full moon. And Mars fuels growth. Chiron says, right, we're ready now. We've looked at some healing. We've learnt from that. And we understand the self better. So you might feel that. The moon has some tension. But, you know, it's kind of all positive, really. Just having a look what else is new or what else has been said. I think that's all I got to say on that bit. I looked at Ria, who I didn't get her second name. She thinks it's very positive. She's always very effervescent, really. She absolutely flows with the moon, you can tell. She talked about this full moon connects with the moon around, which was 2023, a new moon at the same degree. What happened then around December the 12th, 2023? I've no idea, but has something from that closed. And this is kind of also about new vision. And truth revealed was there a truth revealed around mid-December 23. So something we learned then and waited till now to kind of learn from it and create something else. I think that's what she meant. The moon trines Mars. We create Chiron moon, facilitate healing. We talked about that already. And then she talks about some things other people had said. Jupiter is in Cancer for 1 year, 2 to 3 days before this full moon. And it's very positive. And Cancer is about home and your roots. And Jupiter is positive. Mercury in Cancer, communication, socialising, being ourselves and being authentic. And Gemini in the Sun, mind, about your mind, ideas, perspective, home, emotions. There's a lot going on, really. Then Tanya Gabrielle, lastly, she did tell me she's good at knowing the times, which I really respect. And then she's got really about big moments, greater vision, optimism, and good for home businesses, she mentioned. Cancer, Jupiter, generous, adventurer, strong, open to exploring. She really mentioned this home business entrepreneurship as maybe something coming to the fore. And Mercury sextile Venus, communications, grand, passionate, creative, sounds and sensitivity, important. Mercury square to Neptune, clear over things. There might be a bit of confusion there, but and also inattention, break down long-held beliefs, Jupiter square to Saturn and Neptune, and attraction to partners or new partners as well, coming up a little bit. And planets changing signs greatly, the 5 outer ones, shifts that are seismic, once in many lifetimes sort of thing, and reshaping the fabric of our lives because of these planets changing. So, and there might be things like sudden changes in careers, relationships, freedom, boldness, updating our beliefs and ourself, really, and old patterns dissolving, and the veils falling, which is about Neptune, and old patterns dissolving, Neptune and Aries. And there might be some confusion, but if we can be flexible, open our hearts, and we can extricate ourselves from any webs that have been kind of spun, and we're not likely to maybe trust so blindly anymore. And we're more likely to research things and regain our own power, she thinks. So we can become more sovereign. And she was talking about that, and Pam was talking about being this sovereign as well. And she talked about the, year 2000 Piscean. Now it's Aquarian age, and that's more to do with Jupiter and Pluto empowering us and us being informed. So that's all I've got to say. Oh my God, it's a long one. Sorry. Happy full moon in Sagittarius. Take care. Bye.